Hey guys, I'm Heather. I own Lucky Lemon Bakery. I'm a vegan chef. I have been doing, I started Lucky Lemon Bakery back in 2015. I've been vegan for close to 10 years now. I think it's been that long. Oh my gosh. So I have a passion for cooking. I've always loved cooking. I actually graduated from Kokomo High School from their culinary arts program at the Career Center, and then went on to culinary school down in Louisville, Kentucky. I've worked in fine dining restaurants. I managed coffee shops, and then I worked for Whole Foods Market for about 4 years as their marketing demo specialist. And my job was actually doing cooking classes and cooking demonstrations for them. So I have a little bit of experience. And then I decided when I moved back here that I wanted to, share. I had no idea if anybody liked vegan food or what was, if there was even a demand for it. And so I started Lucky Lemon Bakery, and we just opened our restaurant back in January, and we are very busy, which is awesome. And I'm so thankful that Kokomo has been so responsive to vegan food and how much love and support you all have given me. So I am eternally grateful. This is actually my second cooking class that I've done for the Kokomo Library. And this is the first one Zoom. I've never done a cooking class for Zoom, which is kind of strange because normally I see a sea of faces out there, and it kind of, I don't know, I'm a little bit more nervous doing a Zoom class. Like I feel like now there's going to be recorded footage of this. So, so bear with me. This is the first time I've done a Zoom class. I'm very excited about it, but I was really excited when they asked me to do this because it's cooking by the book, and they told me to pick a recipe from a cookbook that was here at the library, and I knew exactly which book I was going to pick. I am kind of a cookbook nerd. I have well over 300 cookbooks at my house. It's a lot. And so I love this cookbook by Chef Chloe Cascarelli. I had to look up how to pronounce her last name. And it is a beautiful cookbook. I actually was the person who suggested the library purchase this cookbook. So I chose her recipe today for the General Tso's tofu. This is actually one of my family's favorite, and from start to finish probably takes you less than 30 minutes to make. And if you have some of your staples on hand, like the sriracha, the soy sauce, and maple syrup, it's less than $10 to make, and it will serve 3 to 4 people. So, or 2 servings, 1 serving if you really, really like to eat. So, but it's a beautifully done cookbook here. We also love the, there's just the artwork and the photography. It's very well laid out. Every recipe I've tried of this book is really, really good. So the library has 2 copies, correct? Yes, so they have 2 copies that are available to check out. And if you really love this cookbook, I highly suggest buying it. You would not be disappointed with it. I mean, I'm kind of into buying cookbooks, if you can't tell. So with 300 of them sitting at home. So so if you don't know what vegan is or what vegan food is, so vegan means there's no meat, no dairy, no animal products, so no eggs and anything. And so a lot of people get kind of intimidated by it because we're very much into a society where it's cooking with meat and dairy and eggs and everything. I went to culinary school. I was classically trained. French techniques is all butter, fat, eggs, cheese, and everything. I didn't learn anything about vegan stuff while I was in culinary school. So hence the reason why I have 300 cookbooks is because I've just read cookbooks. That's what I do for fun. I loved when I did this as a 20-day challenge to go vegan. And I was actually getting ready to study to become a butcher when I started that, and completely did a 180 and decided that I loved vegan cooking so much more. I found it very interesting just being able to play with flavors and trying to figure out how to get those textures and consistency that I wanted. And it kind of opened my eyes to a whole new world of cooking, and I haven't looked back since. So today, the recipe that I'm doing is, did you scan the recipe for them or? Okay, I want to make sure you guys have the recipe so you can look at it, which I feel like I just lost my page where I was at because, oh, there we go. So the recipe we're doing today is General Tso's tofu. I kind of have the personal mission of making sure that people love tofu because I absolutely adore it. It's kind of one of those ingredients people think is really strange, but I love it because it is really inexpensive to buy tofu. You can go to the store and get a pound of tofu for less than $2. It has zero cholesterol, fat-free, high in protein, and it's got all these other, it's got 7 grams of protein per serving. And we're talking like 3-ounce serving, like 3.5-ounce serving has 7 grams of protein in it. So it's a really cheap, inexpensive, and healthy source of protein. And the great thing about it is that, yes, it has no flavor, but it will take on any flavor that you add to it. So when you start with tofu, you want to make sure you press it. Now, the tofu that they provided with your kits, it's a silken type. You do not need to press this one very much. It is because if you press it with it silken, it will crumble a little bit easier. This one's totally fine to just drain out of the package and dice up like according to the rest of the recipe. But if you're going to get the tofu that you get from a store, it comes in a plastic packaging. It's in the refrigerated section. You just drain off the liquid and then you press it. I have, of course, because I eat a lot of tofu, I have a tofu press. These are nifty little gadgets. You absolutely do not need this to be able to prepare tofu. So I pressed this tofu in here. I love it because this little thing has a little tray that comes out, and all the liquid gets caught in the bottom there. So I can press a block of tofu and be able to have it pressed by the time I get home. It'll be, pressed in the refrigerator all day, and I'll have a block already pressed, and it saves me about 10-15 minutes off of dinner prep. So I pressed this block of tofu, which this was a weird shaped block that I had. It was like a perfect square shape. So I'm going to make a loud noise here probably. Oh, no, it came out. So if you want to press this without, you don't have a tofu press, I understand. I'm the weirdo that has a tofu press. So you would generally want to like take a plate and put a couple paper towel, like a couple layers of paper towel. You would set your block of tofu on there, a couple more layers of paper towels, another plate, and then set something heavy, like, I don't know, like some cookbooks on top of it, and then help press it for about 15-20 minutes. If you're doing multiple blocks of tofu, like you're doing 2 pounds, because my kids love to snack on tofu, I do like a baking sheet and a couple layers of paper towel, and then a couple layers of paper on the tofu down, and do that instead, because it's easier to distribute the weight. Don't put anything glass that can be on top anything can break, because sometimes your tofu will not be stabilized and will make things tip over, and you hear a crashing sound, and it's not very pleasant to have things break on you. So, to prepare the tofu, this is a block of tofu here. We're gonna do our mise en place first for this. So, which means just everything in its place. Sorry, I'm getting some culinary technical terms there. So I slice it through the middle lengthwise. So then you end up with like 2 squares, but thinner. And then we're going to set it down, and we're going to cut strips again. Kind of want to keep it all together because this just makes it easier to be able to dice this up. So about 5 to 6 strips. And then we're going to do the same thing across the other way. And you'll just end up with some perfect little cubes of tofu here. And these are going to be our little blocks of tofu here. I love it. Just go across. It's super easy. There's different firmnesses of tofu too. So this is an extra firm block that I have here. You can also find firm, soft, and silken tofu at the grocery store. So depending on which one you choose, it's going to have a different texture. So like the extra firm has a bit of a meatier bite to it. So if you're trying to replicate meat, the tofu, the extra firm is the best one. Now, if you're going to make like a dessert, or you want to make a sauce of some sort, silken tofu is really great for that. You can find it in these little Tetra packs, or you can find it in the refrigerated section of the grocery store. And I think it's still less than $3 of what you're going to spend for silken tofu versus, but I mean, like we're looking at a block of organic tofu is going to cost you I think $1.79 to $1.99 for a block of tofu. So, okay. So for this recipe, we're going to get the tofu started with this. We put it into a Ziploc bag. You can use a bowl. It's just a little bit easier to get everything mixed around if it is in a Ziploc bag, because we're going to add in our tamari They believe they provided soy sauce. I'm using Tamari here today because it will make it gluten-free. And I think that Tamari has a little bit of a better depth of flavor to it. And there's a lot of little simple things you can do to make a gluten-free, option instead of, if you were serving to somebody else, or you're just maybe you want to try out some gluten-free options. This is a great little thing to do. I also love Tamari and soy sauce because they, if you want to add a little oomph of flavor to say a soup or a stock or things like that, a little bit of soy sauce or Tamari is really good. So that's kind of like one of my secret ingredients. So I'm going to add 2 tablespoons, I believe it's, 2 tablespoons Tamari to the bag. I am not a measurer. I'm not going to use I eyeball everything. And then a 1/4 cup or 4 tablespoons of cornstarch to it. And actually I am going to kind of stir this up a little, get this kind of mixed up a little bit to help distribute some of that Tamari. Because I have found sometimes when you do this, once you put the cornstarch in, it can kind of clump up and get pasty just from the Tamari itself. So sprinkle in about a 1/4 cup of cornstarch into it. And stick into my spoon. And then this is a fun thing for your kids to do because my kids love to help me make this. And I love to actually prepare tofu this way without doing this General Tso's sauce, just like fried tofu. They love it. They'll like dip it into like different sauces that they want. Because sometimes, spicy is not really great for little kids. I have a 7-year-old and a 4-year-old. So sometimes I have to, pump the brakes on the spice for them. So, I've just mixed it up. And I don't know if you can really see it, but it's just coated just like this. So when it gets fried in the oil, that cornstarch is gonna crisp up on the tofu and it kind of acts like a breading. If you would get General Tso's chicken or tofu out at a restaurant, they generally batter it and deep fry it. So we're not gonna obviously be doing deep frying, and we're gonna make our own sauce, which tastes so much better and it's not full of artificial food colorings. So because sometimes I don't trust when things are that bright or bread at Asian restaurants, though I do love some General Tso's tofu there too. So I've got the tofu started. We will fry it up here in just a moment, but I want to get some of the green onions and show you some of the sauce stuff, because as soon as we get this tofu fried up, then we're going to fry up the green onions and the garlic and ginger, and then you'll move in and do the sauce. So let's get our green onions chopped up and get our sauce made up, and then we can do everything. So, and also just to let you know, I already have the rice and the broccoli steamed. I got this started before we got on here. So I have jasmine rice that I cooked in my rice cooker, and I have a little steamer on top with our broccoli. So that's all ready. You want to try to make things so that it will go as smoothly as possible. It just takes practice. I'm practicing at that, and it's been years. I've been cooking for 20 years. So, so we're gonna do our green onions here, kind of just do a rough chop on that. I've just got these little pieces on top that are kind of not as pretty. So we're just gonna do a little rough chop here. We'll set that to the side when it's done. Make sure we're not going to drop any green onions. I'm pretty sure they don't want food all over the floor in here. And so I've got our green onions ready. I've got our orange peel ready. If you see on the recipe there, we need to zest a little bit of the orange, but you're also using the orange juice of the orange. So I zest it first before you slice it. So to simply do a zest, like I've already obviously cut this orange, you take, I don't know if you can see this very well, there's like a paring knife, you just gently pull the skin off, and that's how you would zest. That's the zest part. You want to try to avoid getting any of the white of the orange, because that's the pith, and so you don't want that part. You want just the little zest part. So here's my piece here. I have a little bit of the white on there, but it adds really great flavor to this recipe. I would not skip that part. So for ginger, if you've never, yes.
I'm having a hard time getting the recipe in chat.
Okay.
I could just drop the file in there and it won't let me. I
Oh
was not
no.
gonna be able to, because I scanned it. So
Okay.
I told them in chat I'm gonna email it to them.
Okay.
But I just wanted you to know that.
That's totally fine. Okay. Well, sorry you can't see the recipe itself. So this is fresh ginger. It looks kind of funky. If you've never peeled ginger before, the easiest way everybody says to do it is you use a spoon and use the edge of the spoon and just kind of scrape some sorry, some ginger peel off. Okay, do it towards a cutting board so you don't fling ginger all over the place. So, and you just use the side of a spoon and scrape the skin off of ginger. This is another really great one too if you want a kid to help you in the kitchen. Like my kids are always asking to help me in the kitchen. So any of this stuff that I don't feel like I have to be control freak about, like give them a spoon and some ginger and they can have some fun doing that. So you just use a spoon and peel the ginger and then you will just mince it for the recipe. So I wanted to make sure you guys could see that. And then if you use fresh garlic at home, you have like a bulb of garlic that looks like this, and you want to try to get the cloves off. Now, to get the peel off of the clove, you can do a couple different ways. I know some people put them in jars and shake them and all that stuff. I like to just be slightly aggressive and quick with that. And I just smash the garlic with the side of my knife and you can peel the skin like right off. And we have beautiful peeled clove of garlic and I already minced up some garlic and ginger. So we've got that done. But oh, it smells so good. Just this, we're like salivating in here right now. It smells amazing. So we've got our garlic and our ginger here. And that just adds so much great flavor. Using fresh is awesome. You can still totally buy like the little tubes that's already ground up or grated. And those work really great with recipes. One thing with that, if you are wanting to stay vegan, check the ingredients. Some of them do contain milk. So I know that like if you go to Kroger and Myers, there's a brand there, they have different paste. The only one that is vegan is ginger. All the rest of them contained casein in them, which is a milk product. I know there's a couple companies that do make them without milk. So just double check your recipes or just double check the ingredients on your products and make sure that they are vegan. It's sneaky. They do some sneaky things sometimes to be able to, I don't even know why they would put it. Maybe it's a preservative. I don't know, but it's one of those ones you're like, why is it? Why would you put that in there? So I'm going to get the sauce mixed up. I've already put the 2 tablespoons of cornstarch in the bowl here. And then we're going to add the juice of 1 orange, which I already cut my orange here. Super simple. You can, if you have a juicer, this is great. If you don't have to have a juicer, if you're like really don't want another piece of equipment to clean, you can totally use your hands to be able to juice an orange. I am trying to avoid having to wash my hands a whole bunch right now, so I'm going to use a juicer. But at home, I generally just like dig my fingers in and just start juicing it myself. Unless you have cuts on your hands, then I highly suggest don't doing that. But because yeah, it does burn. You do it that way. I know from personal experience. So one thing you want to know about cooking with cornstarch, especially because the cornstarch in this is to help thicken the sauce. One thing about cornstarch is that it needs to be added to a liquid when it's cold. Otherwise, if you add it to a liquid that is hot, it will instantly clump up. So what we're doing is we're creating, it's the technical term is a slurry. So you will whisk in the cornstarch in with cold ingredients, and then it will be, once added, the slurry has to be added to something that is hot, because then it will thicken. Otherwise, if it gets to sit in a cold liquid, it will clump up again and it won't thicken properly. So make sure when you make some sort of slurry, it's cold into it and then that into something hot. So, oh, you're shifting it. So, okay. So I've juiced the orange. We're going to add that orange with this cornstarch. And then then 2 tablespoons of tamari or soy sauce, whichever you choose. And then we're going to make sure, oh, then sriracha, because I love sriracha. You got some spice to it. This is like one of my favorite ingredients. I know it's not for everybody. You know what? I'm gonna add extra sriracha because I don't have to share it with you guys, and I want it this way. So, and then the maple syrup, and so this is gonna add really great sweetness to it. And then you just give it a little whisk, and we'll have everything ready to go to start the cooking process. So we've got our sauce made. We have our veggies all meased up here. Our tofu is ready. I'm gonna set this over to the side and we will be ready. So that's one thing, is like help make it fast and easy in the kitchen, is make sure you're meased up, like you have all your everything in place and ready to go, and you'll be less likely to make mistakes, fingers crossed, and it'll end up, everything will come out together. It's timing. You want to make sure you're timing everything right so that everything is hot and fresh and ready. Like that's just, it is, yeah. So now I've heated up a few tablespoons of oil in this nonstick skillet, and I think, oh, it's still, okay, we got a little heat going. I'm turning it up a little bit more, but we're gonna get just fried up just a little bit. And this is actually gonna be frying. If you guys have any questions, feel free to ask, because this is just a process right now to get it all, going. And you asked the poll, right? You did a poll.
I did a poll, and it was, the question was,
now, how firm will they be at the end of this process? Like, is it gonna be like crispy or?
Yeah, it'll have a little crispiness to it, but then you're gonna have like this sweet kind of thicker syrupy sauce on the outside of it too. So, but this helps crisp it up and like adds a skin to the tofu, like a little bit of a crispy skin to the tofu that helps hold on to that sauce. So
we have another question
in
here. Somebody's asking, can you fry it without oil and using broth instead?
For this recipe, I personally wouldn't do that. Maybe an air fryer would be a great option for it if you have one. I did have one. I don't have one anymore. I had an air fryer once. I don't have it anymore. But I think an air fryer option would be great for it. Maybe just like do a very small amount of vegetable broth. You might not even have to do that. I bet just doing it with this tamari and the cornstarch in an air fryer would work really great. Probably about 20 minutes at 350, 375. But I've not personally done that. So if you do it, then you need to let me know how your results turned out. So I'm going to try not to crowd this too much. And it's just really simple. So you're just going to basically just be getting this tofu fried on each side until it's kind of crispied up. And I do a lot of oil-free cooking. I don't have a lot of that at my shop all the time. And I know that you guys are asking about those things. And I probably will be having some oil-free stuff this week just because I'm craving something like really fresh and light because it's just been so dang hot. I mean, summer is finally here, which is amazing. So, and if you didn't know if you don't know where Lucky Lemon Bakery is, we're located at 830 East Markland Avenue, right next to Choo Choo Magoo's. We don't have any in-person dining. We have a little walk-up window. You just walk up and order food. Hopefully here soon we'll be adding some outdoor dining. So then that way people can sit outside and eat. We do have a couple little tables, but we just wanted to keep it really simple to start out with. And eventually we'll hopefully grow to a larger space, but we're kind of just starting off right now. So, but the tofu is all cooking here. Now, if you've never cooked rice before, I'm gonna off here. So if you've never cooked rice before, When you cook rice, it's a 2-to-1 ratio of water. So you would do 1 cup of rice to 2 cups of water. You put it in you can do it in an Instant Pot. And with an Instant Pot, I believe it's 1.5 or 1.5 cups of water to 1 cup of rice. I just put it in a rice cooker. I have this little rice cooker, cost me $10 at Kroger. And it's just great for if I just want to cook a little bit of rice. I have 5 Instant Pots and I love them too. But if I'm just doing something really small like this, I really do love using my little rice cooker. But if you're cooking on the stovetop, put it in a saucepan with a lid, medium low heat, about 20-30 minutes, depending on the type of rice that you're using. You could use white rice, which I'm using a white jasmine rice here. You can use brown rice, and brown rice will take a little bit longer. It is a bit healthier for you. And it's just as delicious. So you can definitely do whichever you like. You can choose, I chose jasmine rice, choose basmati, try just long grain white rice, short grain white rice, whatever you like and whatever works for you. If you don't like rice, quinoa is a great grain alternative also. If you're going for more of a lower carb, you could go for a cauliflower rice. You can just customize this to make it however you want. So, but yeah. Is there any other questions? I'm trying not to have too much dead space in here.
So walk us through the process of what you're doing with the tool you're using.
Oh, okay. So I'm using tongs. These are tongs.
Yeah.
And I am just turning the tofu on each side, just trying to get it browned up a little bit. And, we just want to get like a good crust on each side of the tofu and be able to just so that it'll have a really good texture. Most of the time General Tso's tofu or General Tso's chicken is deep fried. So we're trying to mimic a little bit of that without digging out a deep fryer and causing fire code violations in here. So, but yeah, so if you can see here, like it's got like a little bit of a browning on it. And so you just kind of turn it over. And once they're really getting good and crispy, then we're going to end up adding in our ginger and garlic and green onions and give it a quick saute. And then once the green onions are starting to get a little wilty, then we will add in our sauce and let that thicken, and then it'll be ready to serve. Like it is a very simple recipe. Once you've got everything all, like really there's not a whole lot of prep to it. Like I'm not having you marinate things overnight and doing lots of crazy stuff. So, and a lot of these ingredients are just super easy to find at the grocery store. If you are, I would highly suggest checking out, check out Asian grocery stores. They have so many unique sauces and ingredients, vegetables and stuff like that. Like get out of your comfort zone and try something different and new. And especially if you're trying to do vegan food, a lot of Asian cuisine and a lot of Asian cuisine a lot of it can be easily made or is already automatically vegan. And you'd be amazed some of the stuff they come up with. So, I mean, tofu was created, I think they said it was like 2,000 years ago in China. And it is still a staple within their diet. So, and it's really, really good for you. There's so many different ways that you can prepare it and use it. So, and I love it because once you've pressed out all of those, pressed out all the water, it'll take on any marinade you want. You can fry it, you can bake it, you can saute with it. A tofu scramble is amazing. Acts as a replacement for an egg. You can use it for making custards and sauces. I make a cheesecake, my chocolate cookie butter cheesecake that is amazing that I know that Ben has had. Is made with silken tofu. I've made a chocolate peanut butter cake that is really, really good that's made with silken tofu. And you would never know, no one would ever guess the difference. It's really good for you too. Maybe not chocolate cookie butter cheesecake. I'm not going to say that's a health food. Like I will not, but tofu is really good for you. Very high in protein, low in fat. So
we have another question.
Okay.
How long will tofu last uncooked and then the dish once you cook it?
So if you, so out of the packaging in the refrigerator, the tofu will be about 7 days if it's in a container. And then cooked, I would probably give it another 4 to 7 days, depending. If you find any package of tofu that's like bulging, or it looks like there may be bubbles or anything forming inside of it, do not buy it. Or if it's already in your refrigerator, throw it away. Because tofu is a potentially hazardous food, meaning it's high protein, high protein, and it's hospitable for bacteria to grow. So you want to make sure it is, unless it is one of like these packagings here do not have to be refrigerated, but the ones that do need to be refrigerated, or once one of these are open, it does need to be refrigerated to prevent bacteria from growing. So it looks like here we've got the tofu is pretty crisping up on each side. I'm super excited about it. So we're going to add in our green onions here. I'm going to turn up the heat. Some fresh ginger, which is so good. And some fresh garlic. And we're going to saute this for a minute. Our orange peel too. I'm going to give it a quick little saute. It smells amazing in here.
There needs to be smell.
Yes, we need smell-o-vision. Wasn't it like a Nickelodeon thing? Like, didn't they have like a whole, oh, I feel old. Am I old?
Do you have any other vegan, like if someone's just basically wanting to know about veganism, do you have any other books that you would recommend?
So another book I would recommend is I'm trying to think. Any of I know I'm going to butcher her name. Isa Chandra Moskowitz. Someone can correct me if they know it. She's like wrote Post Punk Kitchen, Veganomicon, Vegan Cupcakes Take Over the World, Vegan Pie in the Sky. She was like the OG of like doing vegan food. So she her recipes are amazing. I find that they turn out really, really well too. I know that you guys have the like super fun vegan like holiday time cookbook. I know you have Veganomicon. I know you have Vegan Eats World. And I know that Isa does it. I know that I think you guys have that one too. I love a lot of her cookbooks too. She's also one of my I'm like a fangirl for her. So I've been wanting to try her restaurants forever. But she has a lot of recipes in there that are very like user friendly and they turn out really well. I also love Bryant Terry. Bryant Terry is his cookbooks. He specializes in like African-American, soul food, Southern cuisine. His recipes are a bit more advanced, but they are amazing. That's probably one of my other favorite chefs. So if you look here, we've got our green onions kind of all wilted up there, and we're going to add in our sauce. So if you also want to learn about vegan cooking, I would check out YouTube. YouTube has some really great vegan chefs on there, that are creating content and giving you recipes that are awesome. And it's totally free to go and watch it. I mean, the library is free too, so definitely check out what's from the library. But the YouTube has some really awesome chefs. I love Avant-Garde Vegan. He's a really, really good one. There is Hot for Food. Lauren Toyota is her name. She comes up with some really great recipes. I know that the library has at least one of her cookbooks, the Hot for Food cookbook. Vegan Comfort Classics is really, really good. And if you're like wanting to know about like health benefits of veganism, or wanting to know maybe some more of like the other sides of veganism, check out Forks Over Knives. You could check out Plant Pure. Like there's different documentaries you could check too. Plant Pure Nation. The Game Changers is on Netflix. That's a really good vegan documentary. And there's lots of different books too that talk about what the vegan diet is. If you want to do it in a healthy way with like no oils, no refined sugars, and if you've got health issues, you want to be able to perhaps help yourself get healthier. That's definitely an option for it too. Now this is a healthier option. This is not necessarily the healthiest recipe. So if you can see here, it's the cornstarch has now started to thicken up this sauce. So wherever it is cooking, you see that it's getting really good glaze on this tofu, and it smells so good. This is a very simple recipe. I wanted to pick something that I knew you guys could be able to cook. Most people have like at least a pan at home and a knife and a cutting board. So, and we just get a little simmer, let it go, and we'll be able to serve it up. I'm so excited. I bet you guys are excited to try something.
Oh, yeah.
I wish I could share it with you all. I really do. Like, this has been this feels weird
Maybe
talking to a
someday.
camera.
Yeah.
Yes, one day.
Taste of vision as well.
I know, like we could just like, oh, that'd be wonderful. What's that Willy Wonka one where like they sent the chocolate bar to the. I'm totally dating myself right now. I feel very old.
So with the temperature of what you're cooking at here,
Mhm.
I know that it can sometimes be difficult to make it an exact right temperature. Is there an indicator that we're looking for as we are looking at the pan here for that will indicate to us, hey, we are almost ready on this dish?
So if you look, it is starting to thicken up. That sauce was really liquidy when poured it in, and it's like looking very gelatinous, but you don't want it too gelatinous. Like you don't want it to clump up, but it is about perfect right here. Like it looks like a really good glazy sauce. Like it's dripping good there. So that sauce is done. Tofu is done. And now it is time to serve this. So I got a beautiful little bowl here. I'm gonna pull our broccoli off. So I've got broccoli,
Oh, it smells so good in here.
and then we've got the rice. And so you just do a scoop of this rice in the bowl. Trying to make sure you guys can see this. I have no idea what you can see. So rice, and then we're just gonna grab some broccoli here, put that on the side. And then I'm just gonna use this. Try not to eat the orange peel. I don't highly suggest it. It doesn't taste very good. It makes really great flavor. So then we just put some of our tofu in with all that delicious sauce and seasonings on it. And we will garnish with a little sesame seeds. And voila. It's all done. It's delicious. Do I need to take a bite? You go. I'm like,
You
do I
want
have to?
to.
Do I have to? I don't think I brought like oh, they have a fork. I'm like, I didn't bring a fork for me to try. So
Sure. Walk us through the different notes of the taste and what you were experiencing.
okay.
Yeah.
Mm. Okay. So it's sweet. It's got a little heat to it. Then you got like the roasted sesame seeds on it, really good. And then that sauce getting soaked up with your rice, and you'll have a little bit of like help break up some of the heat and the sweetness with your broccoli. And it's very, very good. And garlic and ginger and all of those things in there. So it is delicious. I have made a mess in here and I'm going to have to clean this up, but I hope that you guys will try this recipe. I hope you will check out this cookbook. Definitely check out Chef Chloe on Instagram, Facebook. I believe you can find some videos of her on YouTube. I believe she also competed on Cake Wars and won. She was a vegan chef that won on Cupcake Wars, I believe.
That's where I recognize her.
Yeah. She's opened restaurants. She did have a restaurant called Chloe or by Chloe. Unfortunately, the company that she was working with ended up trying to do non-vegan food under her brand, and she's been in lawsuits with them. I believe she won, but I still think she's trying to win to get her brand back. But she's been launching other restaurants and stuff too. She's always posting things on Instagram. But I love all of her cookbooks. I believe this is her 4th cookbook. She's got one that's like an everyday cooking one, a desserts one, Italian, because obviously with her last name, she's Italian. And then she has this Chloe flavor one. And I am super excited. She comes out with another cookbook. I will absolutely get it. But I would definitely suggest, this is a beautiful cookbook. All of her cookbooks are really user friendly. And definitely check out the vegan cookbook selection here at the library.
And I just sent them a link to a list of those.
Oh, very cool.
As you were saying the authors, I was adding them.
Oh.
I sent that link out.
Very good. Yeah, the library has a really good vegan selection of, or cookbook selection for vegan cookbooks. I may or may not be the guilty party that has suggested a lot of vegan cookbooks being bought here.
We love people like you.
So I was like, because I actually bought this cookbook myself and then suggested the library get it because it was that good. I was like, other people need to see this cookbook. And just get in the kitchen, experiment, try something new and different. You know, the worst you can do, like, you make a mistake, at least you can eat it. Like if it's in the kitchen, if it's a really bad mistake, you may not be able to eat it, but most of the time with vegan food, you should be able to eat it. So, and definitely come and check us out at the Kokomo Farmers Market or at our shop at 830 East Markland. We do lots of different vegan options. And we're always happy to talk about vegan stuff with you all. I got a sesame seed in my throat. Sorry, guys.
We have 2 questions.
Ooh, I'm excited.
Where do you buy toasted sesame seeds?
I believe I got these at the Asian grocery store. This is the Asian grocery store. I got these ones, but you can buy them at, I believe you can get them in the Asian section at Kroger and Meyer. You can also find them.
And then how big are the cubes of tofu? The recipe doesn't say.
I did about 1 inch by 1 inch. Yeah. About an inch by like an inch and a half, maybe. I wouldn't keep them. You want them to be bite-sized pieces. So, okay. Well, thank you guys so much for logging in and staying until the end and watching this. I really appreciate it. And thank you so much to the Kokomo Library for inviting me and I got to be their guinea pig on this new adventure of theirs. And so I'm always happy to support our local library. And I'm happy that they would love to have someone doing vegan food here. And definitely come and check out their selection of cookbooks. You can also find a lot of vegan cookbooks on Hoopla that are completely free. You can check out digital copies. I absolutely love that app. If stop by our shop and stop by Lucky Lemon Bakery, try out something new and just say hi. So